brought to you by Pull Cafe. For centuries, preparing coffee was a simple, messy affair. Most people boiled ground coffee directly in water or let the grounds steep in a pot, resulting in a thick, bitter brew filled with heavy sediment. But in the 18th century, French households began experimenting with a different approach, seeking a cleaner and smoother cup. They realized they could use gravity. Instead of boiling the grounds, cooks placed them in a loose linen bag, often called a sock, and poured hot water over the top. The water slowly dripped down through the fabric, leaving the heavy sediment behind. By around 1800, this simple method took a more structured form. The Archbishop of Paris, Jean-Baptiste de Bellois, designed a two-chamber pot that turned cloth filtration into a formal kitchen device. The upper chamber of the Bellois pot featured a perforated basket with a fine muslin cloth barrier. Hot water passed through the grounds, filtered through the cloth, and collected as clear coffee in the lower serving pot. By the early 19th century, similar perforated ceramic and metal drip pots began appearing in homes across Europe, standardizing this gravity-fed technique. Yet these early systems were far from perfect. Reusable linen and muslin cloth quickly clogged with oils and fine particles, making the brewing process incredibly slow. The fabric was difficult to clean, and over time, it transferred stale, sour flavors to subsequent brews. Even metal mesh filters struggled with uneven water flow and left fine silt at the bottom of the cup. As coffee consumption grew, home cooks faced a persistent frustration. They had discovered the benefits of gravity filtration, but they still lacked a clean, consistent, and disposable filter that could easily be standardized. In 1908, a Dresden housewife named Melitta Bentz took a direct, practical approach to this household chore. Frustrated by the bitter oils and gritty sediment that ruined her morning coffee, and tired of scrubbing hard-to-clean linens, she tore a piece of blotting paper from her son's school notebook. She punched holes in the bottom of a brass pot with a nail, placed the paper disc inside, and poured hot water over the grounds. The result was a clean, sediment-free brew that bypassed the bitter aftertaste of traditional methods. On June 20th, 1908, Bentz filed a German utility model application for her invention. The Imperial Patent Office registered the design on July 8th under sequence number 347,895, with a formal publication on page 1145 of the Patent Blatt later that month. Her design specified a coffee filter with a domed, recessed underside and inclined flow holes. This geometry kept the filter from resting flat against the cup, while the diagonal holes directed the water evenly through the coffee bed for a uniform extraction. By solving both a taste problem and a daily cleanup chore, Bentz realized her kitchen table experiment had commercial potential. On December 15, 1908, she and her husband registered their company in the Dresden Commercial Register with a modest starting capital of 72 Reichspfennig. Operating initially from their family apartment, they began manufacturing the custom-built brass holders and pre-cut paper discs. This single-use paper filter established the structural foundation for manual pour-over systems, shifting coffee preparation away from reusable fabrics and toward a reliable, repeatable routine that would soon spread across the globe. Following the paper filter's introduction, designers shifted focus to the geometry of the brewer itself. Early flat-bottom holders with round paper discs gradually gave way to conical shapes throughout the 1920s and 30s. This structural change directly altered how water moved through the coffee, creating a deeper bed of grounds. To prevent clogging, manufacturers added internal ribs and adjusted the bottom openings to ensure a uniform flow. By the early 1940s, designs like the glass Chemex refined this conical approach further, using thick paper to deliver a cleaner cup. Yet, despite these geometric advances, the process remained highly manual. Home cooks still had to heat the water, manage the pour rate, and carefully monitor the brew from start to finish. In 1954, German inventor Gottlob Widmann introduced a machine that automated the morning routine, the Wigomat. Patented in Germany in the 1950s, it is widely credited as one of the earliest commercially successful electric filter coffee makers. The sequence was straightforward. Cold water from a reservoir traveled past a heating element, rising through a tube to rain over the coffee grounds. Widmann's design used a thermostat to keep the water near 92 degrees Celsius or 198 degrees Fahrenheit. Gravity then pulled the water through the basket in a single pass into a glass carafe. While electricity automated the heat and water delivery, gravity still performed the brewing. But before this mechanism ever operates, how is the coffee roasted and protected to preserve its fresh flavor? Once coffee beans leave the heat of the roaster, they immediately face their most persistent enemy, oxygen. Roasting initiates a chemical countdown, as exposure to air rapidly oxidizes the delicate oils and volatile compounds that give coffee its distinctive aroma and taste. To understand how early coffee producers fought this post-process freshness decline, we can look to Pull Cafe in Yakult, Washington. Here, Todd Miller maintains a living piece of industrial history, a massive brick-lined, wood-fired Probat roaster. Believed to date from around 1896, it is widely described as the world's oldest operating coffee roaster, although verifying its exact origin is nearly impossible. This antique machine relies entirely on burning seasoned hardwood to slow roast the beans, requiring deep craftsmanship and constant adjustment of the airflow to manage the temperature. But roasting is only half of the overall coffee technology. To protect these volatile flavors before they ever reach a kitchen brewer, Meyer employs a historic food preservation technique, sealing the roasted beans in rigid metal cans under a vacuum. This process is designed to create a zero-oxygen environment inside the container, effectively halting the staling process. While modern bag valves have become standard, this traditional method highlights that coffee technology is as much about preservation as it is about brewing. While preserving the roasted bean keeps the volatile flavor compounds intact, the daily preparation of the cup itself was about to undergo a dramatic evolution centered on speed and convenience. In the early 1970s, American kitchens were still dominated by the electric percolator, an appliance that repeatedly cycled boiling water over the grounds, often producing a bitter, over-extracted brew. Real estate developer Vincent Marotta and appliance distributor Samuel Glazer recognized a massive market opportunity to bring the smooth, single-pass drip method used in restaurants directly to home countertops. To turn this vision into a working consumer product, Marotta and Glazer recruited former Westinghouse engineers Edmund Abel and Edwin Schulze to develop the internal water delivery systems. Their engineering resulted in the 1972 United States launch of a countertop automatic drip machine branded as Mr. Coffee. Offered in retail accounts at an initial price of approximately $39.99, the machine was positioned as an affordable and accessible alternative to the harsh percolators of the era. To win over skeptical households, the company secured baseball legend Joe DiMaggio as its television advertising spokesman in the mid-1970s. DiMaggio's calm, trusted presence on screen normalized the new technology, helping Mr. Coffee become an immediate commercial triumph and a standard fixture in American homes. The appliance drove a major cultural shift in morning routines, changing the process of making coffee from an active, monitored chore into a simple, automated task. But once this automatic drip machine established itself as a normal kitchen category, designers and consumers began to ask how these standard appliances could still improve. By the close of the 20th century, the basic mechanics of the automatic drip machine were firmly established in millions of kitchens. But engineers and coffee drinkers alike began to realize that simple automation had introduced a new set of everyday frustrations. The later improvements emerged as practical solutions to these familiar household problems. Programmability, which became common in the 1990s, addressed a basic scheduling need, allowing busy households to wake up to a freshly brewed pot without waiting. To manage the chaotic morning rush, manufacturers added pause and serve valves that temporarily halted the flow when a carafe was lifted mid-brew, alongside automatic shutoff switches to prevent empty glass carafes from overheating on active burners. But keeping a glass carafe on a hot plate for hours baked the coffee, destroying its delicate taste. The response to this was the double-walled thermal carafe. These vacuum-insulated steel containers kept the liquid hot through passive heat retention, preserving the flavor without constant heating. With temperature and storage addressed, attention shifted in the 2000s and 2010s to the extraction process itself. To understand the engineering challenge, look at a simple manual pour-over cone as a comparison. With a manual cone, a brewer carefully wets all the grounds by hand. In contrast, early electric machines often poured water in a single stream right down the center, leaving some grounds dry and others over-extracted. To fix this, Modern brewers redesigned the component water path. Cold water still travels from a reservoir, down a heating path, and up a tube. But instead of a single drip point, it now reaches a wide, multi-point spray head designed to wet the coffee bed evenly. Some advanced systems now use pulsed water delivery, pausing to let the grounds expand during a dedicated bloom stage. Inside these premium machines, digital controllers regulate water temperature within a narrow range, ensuring consistent extraction every single time. Recent years have seen further extensions to the established system. Reusable metal mesh filters reduce paper waste while allowing natural oils and fine particles to pass through. Built-in conical burr grinders automatically prepare fresh beans to the correct grind size just seconds before water enters the filter basket, while mobile apps and connected features in the 2020s allow users to customize their brewing profiles. Today's coffee culture balances this automated convenience with manual craft, sustainability, and origin. But even the most sophisticated modern machine cannot extract flavors that are already lost. This reality connects the control of modern drip extraction back to older preservation techniques, such as the vacuum-sealed, zero-oxygen metal cans used by traditional wood-fired roasters like Pull Cafe. While vintage canning protects the delicate bean before brewing, the modern automatic drip system takes over at the final step, applying precise thermal control to unlock those preserved flavors in the cup. Today, that morning cup connects us to over 2 centuries of quiet engineering. Even as our kitchens grow smarter, the perfect brew still comes down to the simple chemistry of water meeting bean. It's a daily ritual of patience in a fast-paced world. How do you brew your morning coffee? Let us know in the comments.